Hi, good morning, folks. Welcome to the Early Bird. Sorry, guys, I've been busy all week painting, so I am caught up, and I can't just leave $1,500 on the table. I had to jump on this. So that's done. I want to jump on this with you guys, talk to you guys about what I've missed when it comes to videos. I'm just going to go over the games real briefly, guys, talk about each series. I figure that just might make for a more entertaining video than me running through the numbers anyway. So April the 30th, we had Toronto-Boston. Toronto wins in overtime. Boston lose a chance, guys, to close out Toronto. And the difference with this Toronto team compared to teams in the past, this team hits. This is a physical Toronto team. And Boston is wearing out their welcome when it comes to dominating Toronto. Islanders, Carolina. Time for Lou to make changes there. 4-1 Carolina. I thought the Islanders looked old and tired in this series overall, and they tried to play a run and gun game, which is not their style, and that backfired. I thought the Islanders would play a physical series. They didn't. Instead, they just played a run and gun game with Carolina, and you're not going to beat Carolina that way. But I get Patrick Roy trying to implement his system, and they did make some fights of it in the series, but 4-1's realistic there. I was wrong about the call in that series. Colorado beating Winnipeg 4-1. Wrapping it up in Winnipeg, convincingly 6-3 in the last game. To be honest, I'm just not surprised. I think that Hellebuyck, and I'll say it again, is an overrated goalie, guys. I just think he is. I think he's a good goalie. I think he's one of the best in the league. But I don't think he's ever really shown us in the playoffs that he can get it done. It's just how I feel about Hellebuyck. It's nothing against him. Would I be happy if the Sabres had him? Sure. But I mean, we don't really need him now. So let's move on from there. Nashville wins in Vancouver to stay alive. We'll talk about that in a sec. Then we go back to Dallas. And Dallas win Game 5, which totally shocked me, guys. 3 wins in a row over Vegas all of a sudden, and Vegas is on the ropes. We'll talk about that soon because that comes into tomorrow. Edmonton wrap up the Kings in 5. Kind of a surprise there. I expected the Kings to put up a better fight. They did. But they only got 1 win in overtime. Edmonton looks primed and ready to go deep. Now, Toronto coming back home to play Boston. This game, for me, guys, I want to get back to that Toronto game. I'm going to close the video with that game. We're going to talk about that because that kicks in until tonight. Vancouver wraps up Nashville last night. Not really a shocker. But the thing that surprised me about that series is they won every game in Nashville. And Nashville played good home games. It wasn't like Nashville was sitting on their rear end doing nothing. It wasn't like that. But Vancouver just kept finding ways to be mentally stronger, I found, in this series. Vancouver's for real. Vegas winning 2-0 yesterday. Very frustrating game for me to watch. I was frustrated watching this game, guys. I'm telling you. I was frustrated because I thought for sure Dallas could have done just a bit more in this game. But hey, Vegas wasn't about to lose 4 straight games and have their season end there. We're going to a Game 7 there. I got to admit, I still like Vegas in Game 7, guys. Now, getting back to Toronto in that game, okay? That's the last game I'll touch on here, guys. And then I'll talk a little bit about tonight's games maybe and close it up. Now, in that game, that Toronto-Boston game, for those of you that seen it, you probably were, if you were cheering against Toronto, you were probably as frustrated as me. But I got to give credit where it's due. Toronto were absolutely, for me, the more aggressor. They were the stronger team mentally. The goaltending was there with Wall. I mean, it's just, and you know what? This is no fluke. They're doing this without Matthews. This is no fluke. We can say all we want that, well, you know, Toronto's getting lucky or the refs are on their side. I don't buy into that. No. Toronto was down 3-1. They were out of it. They were getting criticized everywhere. I'm one of them. Everywhere getting criticized. And look what they've done. They go into Boston. They stay alive. That's all they needed to do is somehow get it back home. They did, and they cashed it in the home game. I wasn't surprised. This 6-game losing streak at home, the way I seen it, they're due to win at home. That's kind of the way I see that. So I wasn't shocked. What did shock me is how Boston had 1 shot like halfway through the game. What the hell is that, Boston? You know, if the Bruins are going to play like this, they're going to go down pretty easy in Game 7, guys. I'll tell you right now. You know, the only thing kept keeping them alive right now is Swayman. So if they're stupid enough to put Allmark in now, they deserve to lose, because they will if they put in Allmark. Swayman has to play, and he will play good because he has every single time he's in there. And I think they really blew a real opportunity putting Allmark in to lose that game. I'll keep coming back to that, guys. That might have been a 4-game sweep before Toronto got their heads into it. You know, you don't mess around. You got the goalie that's doing it, you leave him in. But Boston, the coach, they got to get rid of this coach. I don't care how good they've been under him. They're a bad playoff team under this coach, and that for me is a red flag. You got to get rid of this Montgomery guy if they don't get through this series. He's got to go. That's what my way of thinking. They got to get rid of him because they can't keep losing in the first round. It's just not in their DNA. It's not supposed to be. But if the Bruins lose this, they're the first team in NHL history and North American sports history to blow back-to-back 3-game-to-1 in consecutive seasons, series leads. I mean, I never knew that was a thing until they said it on TV. So I'm going to say it. I like Toronto in Game 7. I'm going to just say it. As crazy as it sounds, guys, I like Toronto tonight. I do. It just feels like it's Toronto's time to beat these guys. And at this time, I can't see this comeback. The difference this time with their comeback, I find, is that they're up against good goaltending. They're up against a strong, gritty team, and they're still coming through. Sorry, guys. They're still coming through, but they're doing it without their superstar. I've got to like Toronto in this. And as far as I know, Matthews isn't playing in this one. Says that he's uncertain for Game 7, means he's probably not playing. And the truth is, if you're Toronto, you kind of don't want to bust that chemistry. I hate to say it, but you don't. That's kind of crazy, right? You want Matthews in the lineup. But I'd be nervous to bust the chemistry that's working in that dressing room. So I like Toronto tonight, guys. I just do. It feels like they ended that first round hex last year, but this Boston thing has been hanging over their head for half a century. More than that, like 3/4 of a century almost. Well, what is 65 years? 65 years? I don't know. I kind of like Toronto's chances. But if Boston win, I say Boston's going to win in overtime in this game. I think it's going to go Game 7 in overtime. And I can see Marner getting the goal, okay? Because he's been the whipping boy. So I can see that happening. So, guys, sorry again. Busy. Had to make the cash. Well, I can. No choice. Like these opportunities aren't there forever. And it was just kind of thrown onto my lap. And I had to get this place ready ASAP and just put time into it real fiercely and get it done. So it's done. So I will see you guys in the regular early birds starting tomorrow. And we'll see tonight if I come up with anything in my head. I'm going to be very glued to this Toronto game. I might talk about it. I might do a blue and gold talk and talk about like the playoffs and what we want to look like when we get there, because Sabres are getting closer, guys. I don't care what anybody says. They're getting closer with this Lindy hiring, the team getting a bit older, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be a little aggressive in free agency. I don't want to go aggressive like Steve Stamkos. No, I don't want a 34-year-old guys on this team. No. There's other players out there we can get. We don't have to get somebody past their prime because he's a brand name. No, we can get, there's something we can do. We'll figure that out though. And in a future video, we'll look at some names and let you guys toss around names too. All right, guys, done. I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for the patience. Let's get this video out to you. There's my thoughts on the games. I missed half of these games too, guys? So I'm just giving you my thoughts on some of them. I can't talk on all of them, but the Toronto games I've seen. See you soon, guys.